I'm back. Okay. Apologize for the delay, but we are back. We are here, and thankfully nothing happened. I was a little bit concerned that Erik was going to go for a 12 full, but it looks like he didn't. Maybe question mark. Maybe he can. Yeah, no, he didn't. But here we go. Spawning in the top right hand corner of Jagannatha LE, we have the Mexican Protoss. He is red, representing Timbers Esports. Again, playing Protoss, not Zerg in this matchup. We have JimRising. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Jagannatha ALE, we have the CranKy Duckling himself, representing or hailing from the land of Brazil. The blue Zerg, the best Zerg player in all of Latin America, it is Erik. Oh, the predictions are close between these two players. Who is going to come out on top here? Now, JimRising, we talk about this all the time. He loves his Skytos. He loves his Protoss. He's a degenerate like that. Aye, aye, aye. So Jim going for a Stargate like this shouldn't surprise anyone. Something that is concerning is that JimRising has taken out Erik in the past. But, fun fact, we were talking about this in the previous series with Erik versus Ricci. For those who remember, Erik has been playing around with this gasless style. He did open up with a hatchery and a spawning pool, but there is still no gas. And this doesn't do well against a Protoss player who scouts this and responds. Problem is, JimRising does JimRising things. He is stuck in his way. He's like, you know what? I'm going to go Skytoss. I'm going to go Void Rays regardless of what my opponent is doing. And because of this, Erik is going to get away with his greed. He is going for a much faster hatchery. He's going to have a much higher drone count and working on those queens as well. He's going to have plenty of queens to work with. The downside is, of course, he doesn't have lings. His roaches will be delayed as well. So if Glaive Adepts came across the map, he would have a very hard time. The thing is that JimRising isn't going for Glaive Adepts. He's going for a Phoenix after the Void Ray, which is odd to me, to say the least. A single Phoenix. We should be, I guess, seeing a second Stargate and seeing double Stargate Phoenix production, I guess. There we go. So JimRising going double Stargate Phoenix. And because of that, like, that isn't going to punish this from Erik. Like, Erik will have plenty of queens. You don't need gas to throw down spores, so Erik should be perfectly fine here. And he will get away with this opening. Has found a lot of success. Oh boy, oh boy. Hello, Adrian Rising. Hello, hello. Oh boy. And we'll see how this goes from here, because Erik, he's going straight into that lair tech, skipping so much. He hasn't really scouted the Phoenixes though, and that is a little bit concerning. Will it really matter though? The first Void Ray is sneaking into the main base, does meet the Queen. Kind of deal too much damage. He's trying to focus down the Overlord, but will not get the Overlord. The Void Ray will be forced away. Aye, aye, aye. And that Phoenix count is getting higher and higher, which I think is really cool, to be honest. This is very unexpected from JimRising. Very sneaky of him. If this gets scouted, Erik can respond and throw down additional spores. The goal, or the correct response to this, is to throw down a bunch of spores at each of your bases, because Phoenixes, they can't lift them up, and spores are the best anti-air that Zerg can have. Unfortunately, because Erik hasn't seen this, sure, he has queens, but he just doesn't have as many spores as he would need here, and these Phoenixes could end the game. Like, straight up. God. The scouting link got taken out. We do have another scouting link here out on the map, but he misses the Phoenixes. The Phoenixes, they're coming across the map. Oh no, Erik, not like this. Here come the Phoenixes. There are not enough queens. Every single queen can get picked up. And they will. There's just not enough anti-air here. We have a Spire on the way, but the Spire is not going to be enough. The queens will all go down. There's no spores at the third. Every drone at this third base is under threat. And Jim, with these Phoenixes, He's already paid for it. It's already paid for itself. And he's going to get even more damage. As every single queen will go down, the Void Ray will reign supreme and just go ham here at the third base. Erik, in a desperate move, sends his Ravagers across the map. But what can they really do? And, god. Thankfully, not too many workers have gone down. And even though these spores were late, it looks like they were just barely in time. And Erik still has the worker lead. I thought JimRising was going to deal so much more damage. I mean, JimRising is safe, and he'll deal with all of this. He should deal with all of this, and he will. It's not very energy efficient picking up Lings, but, I mean, he'll be able to do it. But Jim didn't get many drones, and now Erik can make Corruptors. Sure, Erik, he lost all his queens, but that doesn't matter. I think Erik is still fine. For now, at least. He's getting a Corruptor count out. It's not high enough, though. He cannot fight this. He cannot fight the Phoenixes. Oh, God. He does turn around, and he's trying to trade as best he can with them. Thankfully, there are spores all over the place. He can fight within spore range. Meanwhile, carrier production has begun. Erik, more than anything, he needs a fourth base. He needs to take another expansion. Again, something that you can abuse when a player goes mass Phoenix like this is that they don't have that much that can really damage buildings. Again, Phoenixes can't lift up hatcheries or anything that's planted on the ground like that. So yeah, just taking another hatchery, there's no reason not to. And there we go, fourth base does get thrown down. Oh boy, oh boy. And with this, JimRising does have map control, sure, but the Corruptor count's getting higher. The Void Ray count is non-existent because he wasn't making Void Rays, and without enough Void Rays, the Corruptors will reign supreme. He will be able to push through these Phoenixes and get on top of these carriers. Thankfully for JimRising, Erik has actually stopped Corruptor production. I'm a little bit concerned about that. He is content with what he has, I guess. Phoenixes are going to come in. Oh, he will get a queen. But at what cost? The Corruptors do respond. Oh god, but Anion Pulse Crystals is completed. Oh, loses one Phoenix. Maybe Erik can get a couple more at the same time. A Ling Roach run by here at the third base. There's nothing to defend. There's only two. Again, only two Void Rays. Corruptors can deal with this. Right now, they're just busy dealing with the Phoenixes. But there we go. They turn around. These Skytoss units made this. They're no long for this world. The Corruptors are making a beeline for them. The Phoenixes are going to try and intercept, and maybe they can. Oh my god, can they catch up? No! Jim, please! You need to focus down the Corruptors. The Corruptors show up. The carriers will fall. Not just the carriers, but also the third base. Oh my god. And in the end, these Corruptors will get dealt with, but they've traded so well. They've reset the carrier counts. They've reset the Void Ray counts. Phoenixes they just are not enough here. And here we go, we have the Corruptors being replenished. Ay. Yeah, like, what are these Phoenixes are so useless. What isn't useless are these Zealots. The Zealots come in, there's barely anything on the ground, only a handful of Lings, so the Zealots are going to find a lot of success here. They are going to trade very efficiently. They will get cleaned up, but you know, they're doing their part. Oh my god, I do not like this though. JimRising, he's committed. No, mate, you got to switch out of it. Switch into a more ground-focused army. Switch into Charge Lords and into Stalkers. Making more Void Rays and carriers is not the answer. And here come the Corruptors. And there go the Stargates. Both Stargates will go down. The Phoenixes were completely out of position. They will not stop this. A couple of Stalkers get warped in. But say goodbye to those Stargates. No more Stargate production. This will force JimRising to commit to a more ground-focused army. He is working on +1. He does start Blink. And now Erik has to be careful because he does need to himself focus on his own ground army. Going for those things and for those roaches. There are charge lots here, but there's not that many, to be honest. There are enough links to help buffer for these roaches as well. The links will all go down, but there are just not enough cells. They will all get cleaned up, and likewise, there are not enough stalkers. We do see a massive warp in there, and with this warp in, maybe there's enough, but GG gets called, and Erik will take game 1. As I sip on my tea. Oh god. As I sip on my tea. Corruptors look like the mech things from the Matrix. Yeah, they do. They totally do. They're like these octopus creatures. Unfortunately, they do like those things from Matrix Revolution, which is not that great of a movie. You could probably say the same about Matrix Reloaded as well. Like, yeah, didn't hold up to the original. But here we go. Getting ready to dive into game 2. I mean, there was some nice moves there by Jimbo, but wasn't enough. Wasn't enough. He was able to call the queens, which is great, but the economy was surprisingly left alone. That's what I was really concerned about when the pieces came out. But I guess I had nothing to be concerned about. I guess. As I'm also getting ready for the raffle. Oh. There we go. Beautiful. Alright. As we are getting into game number 2 of this best of 3 series. And spawning in the top right hand corner of 2000 Atmospheres LE, we have the Mexican Zerg. He's red, representing Timbers Esports. Currently down in the series. Oh my god, I just realized he's Zerg. He switched. He realized his mistake. He realized he could not do this as Protoss. He is now a Zerg. He is JimRising. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of 2000 Atmospheres LE, we have the Brazilian Zerg player representing the CranKy Ducklings. It is Erik. The best Zerg player in all of Latin America. I say that, but I think I do still stand behind the fact that JimRising has some of the best ZvZ, if not the best ZvZ specifically, in all of Latin America. And I'm worried. So if you're wondering what just happened, you can switch from race to race between maps. You are not locked into a race for an entire series. That is not the case for these weekly tournaments. You can switch, and for Jim to switch to Zerg lets us know that he doesn't believe in his Protoss. This is typically what happens. He's done it against the Zerg Lord. He's done it now against Erik, where he has a hard time with his Protoss, and he comes to the realization that he cannot win this series with his Protoss. So he switches to Zerg. This is plan B, and plan B is stronger than plan A. That is the sad truth of things. Jim is my favorite streamer. He's a great guy. Jim is a great guy. Love him. A great player, a great personality. And we'll see if Jim can bring it together here. Again, nothing too crazy when it comes to the openers. We do see Erik taking a very fast second gas, but that is because he delayed his own gas, which is so scary. Erik, I just realized I wasn't paying too much attention because I was talking about how Jim was switching to Zerg. Erik went for a very fast third hatchery. This is so greedy. And Jim hasn't seen it. If Jim knew about this, he would be flooding lings across the map. I say that, but Jim, he doesn't need to start in his speed. It looks like he may even skip it. But Erik being so bold, taking that third hatchery, delaying his gases. There it is. There's a reason why we didn't see Ling speed on the way. Jim is skipping it and going for roaches. And that is best case scenario for Erik. Erik is going to get away with this fast third hatchery. And Jim, only now with the creep, is going to realize what has happened. Oof. Jim is cutting corners, but Erik cut all the corners, mate. He went full circle here. And now he can freely tech up. He's throwing down a Bailey Nest, which isn't necessary. There are no lings coming from JimRising, but you can understand. It's understandable. Erik, he unfortunately didn't scout, so he's trying to be safe. He needs to catch up, though. JimRising is going straight for Lair. I'm really curious to see what he's going to do here. He is committed to +1 ranged, so this tells me he does probably want to commit to roaches and go for roach speed. I don't think going for mutas is going to be the play here, as yeah, he's going to try and catch up and take his own third base. Oh boy. Alright, and there we go. We have the Evo Chamber on the way for Erik. We still don't have a Roach Warren, which is a little bit concerning to me. We'll see what kind of upgrade he goes for. If he goes for +1 melee or +1 carapace. Goes for melee. Yo, this guy wants to Ling Bane it up. My god. Could this work? I mean, he does have a lot of larva. He does have a lot of resources, so maybe. There we go. A wave of 20 lings are on the way, but it's going to take a really long time for +1 melee to kick in. I would have loved this if the Evo Chamber was just a little bit faster from Erik. It does feel quite delayed. Still no lair, by the way, which is what's confusing to me. I thought Erik would go for mutas, but he's just flooding lings. He's just sending a massive wave of lings across the map. He's looking to try and deny the third base of JimRising. JimRising does not have a Bailey Nest. He skipped the Bailings. He does not have any to defend. We got the Queen. The Queen will get surrounded, and so will the other. No, never mind. He actually doesn't go for it. Instead, he goes for the Roach Warren. Oh my god, and he's gonna get it. No, Jim, the Roach Warren will go down. And now is the third. Erik, mate, he just gets whatever he wants. He got the Queens, he got the Roach Warren, he's gonna get the third. Banelings are being morphed in. I don't think the Banelings are necessary, to be honest. Banelings aren't gonna really help against the Roaches, but they are gonna help when it comes to busting down this wall. You know, here we go, still nothing but lings on the way. +1 melee hasn't even finished yet, but here they come. The Banelings are going to try and bust through this wall. Can they do it? Can they find the connections? Actually, Erik focusing down the wall with his own lings, and he breaks through. The Banelings actually making a beeline for the mineral line. They're trying to connect with the drones, and they will find some connections. Not the best ones, though, and the Roaches should be able to clean up these lings. Not without losing a Queen, though. JimRising, oh my god, he throws down a Spire? I don't know about this one, mate. I don't know if he can survive long enough. He has a decent amount of roaches, but he doesn't have enough to be safe from being surrounded. Like, Erik is making nothing but lings right now. With +1 melee, he can totally surround this army, kill it, and then just go for the throat. Going for mutas like this, it's so risky. I kind of like that Jim is doing it, just because, again, it shows how ballsy he can be, but oh no, just oh no. Lings are breaking through, lings do get in, he gets a scout, he will see the Spire. Just barely. The Queen does stay alive, but we have another massive wave of lings on the way. Hydra Den gets thrown down. That is the answer to those mutas. Oh god, and JimRising is trying to waddle across the map with whatever he has. But the lings are going to do so well against these roaches. Actually doesn't go for the roaches at all. He wants to go for the third once again. And he's going to get it. Forces to cancel. Trades well against these lings. The mutas reveal themselves. Lings will do whatever they can to try and slow down the mutas of JimRising. And right now, Erik, he's in the driver's seat. It feels like, at least. This muta count is relatively large. If Erik doesn't have spores, thankfully he does, then maybe these mutas could find some damage. My question is, where are the Hydras? The Hydra Den is done, Hydra upgrades are on the way, but we do not have any Hydras on the field at all. And I'm a little bit concerned, not gonna lie. I mean, the roaches of JimRising are going to easily be taken out. The Lings are going to rush once again across the map towards that third base. The mutas are going to have a hard time cleaning this up. Oh my god, they just can't catch up with the Lings. As the Lings do just flood across the map, they will focus down this third base. He will force another cancel. Hopefully not a kill. That was a kill, not a cancel. Aye. Things are not looking good here for JimRising. He just can't get a third up. Meanwhile, Erik does get his fourth up and running. He isn't saturated by any means, but he has a lot of larvae to work with, and that does matter, especially when you're going this Ling heavy. Oh, god. Meanwhile, the mutaflock has gotten quite large, but the Hydras, they are starting now. It looks like Erik wants to go into, I imagine, Infestors and Hydras or Vipers and Hydras. The Infestation Pit is done. We don't have a Hive on the way yet, but we also don't have Pathogen Glands on the way either. So it's hard to tell what Erik really wants to go for here. What's scary though is that, again, that Muta Cloud, it's scary. It is terrifying. And there we go. Infestors are the name of the game. Pathogen Glands is on the way. Erik does want to try and land those fungals at the same time. Lings do flood into the main base. Queen goes down in the natural. Queen goes down in the main. 0 queens remaining for Jim. And almost the same can be said about these workers as a couple more of the drones get focused down by the Lings. But what is keeping Jim in this game are the mutas. There's a lot of value here. There's a lot of potential. If he takes one fight well, if he's able to kill all the Hydras and then overwhelm whatever is left, then the mutas will win JimRising the game. Like, this is still a win condition for him. What's worrisome is, again, the Infestors, they're going to be coming out. Pathogen Glands is about to finish up. There's still a decent amount of Hydras. Not enough Hydras to win a head-to-head engagement, though. Ooh, as the Queen in the natural gets focused down. Maybe the Queen in the main base as well. Yep, the Queen will go down. Oh, we do have some transfuses trying to keep them alive, but it is not enough. And these mutas are trading relatively well, but oh my god, they just can't find the damage they're really looking for. The fungal does connect on half of the mutas. Unfortunately, there wasn't a follow-up there for Erik, but still, that was a massive pickoff. JimRising is now aware of what the tech is for Erik, and Erik just needs a little bit longer before he's comfortable enough to move out. What's important, though, the third base has gone up, and JimRising is now mining from it. He has taken the supply lead. But so much of that supply is in these mutas. One fungal is all Erik needs. Here we go. Lings are flooding across the map, but they get spotted by the mutas, so the mutas will be able to respond. They will be able to keep up. At the same time, the Roach Hydra Infestor is headed towards a third base of JimRising. JimRising, though, he has a lot of roaches here to defend. He didn't go all in when it came to the mutas. The wall is the wall. The Lings did not get in. They are going to be able to focus down this fourth base. Ooh, another kill. Jimbo, please. And Erik is forced to back off. He is forced to take up the Hive. He has to get Lurkers. Lurker Den is done, but he has not taken the Lurkers quite yet. He has not made any Lurkers quite yet, which is surprising. He needs them to trade against JimRising Roach Ravager army. Without Lurkers, Roach Ravager does trade more efficiently against Hydras. Meanwhile, JimRising himself, I'm a little bit surprised. JimRising actually doesn't have any muta upgrades. To be fair, he does want to switch out of mutas. Like, he does want to switch back into, like, the ground-focused army, I guess? Question mark? Oh, but we'll see. We'll see how we go. As the Roach Ravager is moving out across the map here. Lurkers are on the way. Lurker range is being researched. And I really worry for JimRising. JimRising is maxed out though. There is an opportunity here for him. Oh my god, the lurkers. Oh, never mind. The fungals are connecting. All these meters are going to get cleaned up, but the Roach Ravager do find a way in between the bases. The lurker den. The lurker den is exposed. So is the third base, as all of this is going to be picked off. And Erik goes for the base trade. And I think this is a better position for JimRising. Because you know what? All this tech is exposed. The Roach Warren could go down. He doesn't go for it yet, but he should. There we go. He does start focusing down the tech buildings. Meanwhile, the third base did fall for JimRising. Finally, the Roach Ravager is pushing into the natural base. What's important though is, oh my god, that's a lot of lurkers. That's a lot of lurkers and infestors. I feel like Erik should have this. I do not think Jim has a response for those lurkers. As the Roach Hydra story is pushing. We do have a couple of roaches coming back home to defend. I don't know if there are going to be enough roaches though. We are equal in upgrades. Oh my god, the bios are connecting though. And Erik does take a beautiful fight on top of the ramp. Force JimRising to push up into him. Eventually, this may get cleaned up. The bio does connect. But at the same time, the lurkers, yo, did the lurkers go down? No, the move command. No, never mind. Okay, they went across the map. I was concerned. They went across the map. Erik will be able to take down everything here in the bases of JimRising, and JimRising cannot push up this ramp into lurkers. It's just not going to happen. I'll be impressed if he somehow pulls it off. Here we go. We do have detection. And JimRising is just going to try and push his way in. The bios are connecting and 3 lurkers go down, but so do the fungals, and a couple of good fungals is all that Erik needs, as all of these roaches will fall. Only 1 roach left, but GG gets called. And Erik takes the series 2-0. And with that, we now have our grand finals ready for us. It is going to be Trigger versus Erik.